All right, welcome in to another edition of Silver Lining Podcast. We are live today. It's Adam. Not sure where Rex is. He's in San Jose on a business trip, and I know he had a bunch of stuff that he had to do today in San Jose. Hopefully, he'll join our live when he gets a chance to. So obviously this week there's been a lot of chit chat about, Chad's trial. So we're going to get to as many questions as we can. And try to give you the best answers that I can. I'm not sure how that's going to go down with Rex not being here, but we'll do that. In the meantime, let's talk about a few things. This is our podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like it if you're on there. Make sure you ask whatever questions you want. Don't feel like you're embarrassed or whatever the thing may be. You can ask any questions. Everybody should feel comfortable with our group. Nobody's judging anybody, and there's a lot of stuff to get to as well. So we'll start with questions, and we'll just answer as many as we can here. First one comes from Hedgehoggin in Space. I do like that name. The question is, if you could change one thing about the trials, the court process, how evidence was laid out, what would it be? It's a great question. Just in general, since I'm not watching the trial for my own reasons, I feel like court process, there could be a lot of different things with our courts. And obviously, it's not a perfect system, and there could be a lot of things that I think could change. And I don't know if they ever will change, but as of now, this is what we have. So we just go with what we have. As far as what I've heard the prosecution laid out a great case against Chad. And there's my boy.
Hey, how's it going?
I was just saying Rex is in San Jose. He's doing business, and I know there's a good reason he's late because he's doing business.
And it was my presentation. It's hard to run out in the middle of it,
No,
sorry.
Could you imagine? Like you're in the middle of the presentation, guys. I have a live, and so I will be back in about an hour. Everybody, just stay where you are.
Basically, what I did, but I at least got to a good breaking point. Said, "Gotta go." I'll be back.
Good. Okay.
Sorry about that.
So now you're in the car. You're in the car for
space. I like it. Yep, I'm in the car.
In the car for an hour.
Yep.
Okay, so I was just saying that since I didn't watch the trial, I don't know. I heard the prosecution did a great job of laying out the case. In court processing, I don't think we have a perfect system of how the due process and how things go with court. I'm sure there's a lot of improvements that can be made, but who knows if that's ever going to change or happen. But I from what I heard, and Rex, you can elaborate on this more, but do you feel like the evidence was laid out in the way it should be?
Yeah, I really believe that. I was paying attention specifically for that. I was trying the whole time to say, if I'm in the jury, coming in cold, not knowing much about the case, what am I getting out of this? Is it enough? But in both cases, in Lori's trial and in Chad's, I don't know law and the practice of law, especially litigation, to know how they could have done it better. But I was just really impressed and really grateful for how the prosecution handled it.
Yeah. Let's go to Debbie D's question. Hey guys, defense is up next. I don't think Pryor is going to have much to defend. How about y'all? I mean, the prosecution has really rocked it. As far as defense goes, I'm sure from what I've heard, he's going to have some experts on and even Chad's kids on. And I was talking to somebody yesterday about, well, if Chad goes up and actually gets up on the stand, witness stand, which he may or may not. I know some people say never do that, and other people say it could happen. But even with his kids, that I said, well, if they get up there, that will the prosecution, really go after these kids because the kids have already gone through so much. I know they're grown. I know they're adults and they're grown-ups. Will they really go after them? And the answer was not to really go after them, but they're going to make their points, whatever points they have to make. But they have to stay along the same line. You can't just ask them any question, which I didn't know that. I thought as a lawyer, once you get a witness up there, you can ask him anything, but actually it has to be along the same lines of the questioning that Pryor puts out first. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, that's my understanding, but that still gives you a lot of latitude. You can imagine what Pryor would have them up there for, talking about him. It seems his biggest theme was Chad a part of this? Was Chad the leader of this, or did he follow Lori's lead? And so I'm sure Pryor is skilled enough to keep it in that narrow context. And so you can't go out and just ask them whatever you want. And I'm sure that children, again, Pryor's skilled enough to ask the question, so they keep it in that context and give examples of how Chad was just following Lori because all the kids knew her. She was in the home. She was making them cookies. She was a family friend. I'm sure he has a good, but in his, from his perspective, is a good plan to keep it very narrow, to not allow the prosecution to get outside that.
Yeah.
See, I give Pryor credit for being skilled in his profession, and that's part of it, especially his, if he puts him on the stand. Now, I cannot imagine, since I believe he is skilled, regardless of whether we like him or not, I can't imagine him allowing, and he doesn't have the final say, Chad does, but I can't imagine Pryor. I imagine him doing everything within his ability to keep Chad off that stand.
But with Chad's ego, though, but with Chad being a narcissist and with his ego, do you think that he feels like he can manipulate the jury, because he's a manipulator, like he's a great manipulator? So do you think if he feels like, well, if I get on the stand, I've manipulated all these other people, I'm sure that I could probably manipulate at least one, so he can get off?
Yeah, I think in Chad's mind, that's what he's thinking. I agree with you completely. I think Pryor is in reality realizing that Chad isn't a great manipulator. He's an idiot that was able to manipulate a few weak minds, and he wouldn't take a chance on the jury being amongst the weak minds.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a big battle between the two of them, and I can't imagine Pryor losing that battle between him and Chad. Chad's an idiot. Lori's an idiot. They buried the kids in his yard. I mean, how much more proof do you need than that?
Yeah.
Okay. He has no chance in the real world where people are using just reasoning, common sense and reasoning. He doesn't stand a chance, no matter how great he thinks his spiritual or manipulative powers are.
I'm interested in knowing, because Chad does have the last word in this, and he can tell John Pryor whatever he wants to tell him, and Pryor can tell him, look, you should not get on the stand. This is what's going to happen to you if you do. Da 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 da. But who knows? It could happen. That's all I'm saying. There is a chance that it's going to happen. So who knows? We'll see what happens. The next question comes from Catherine Pesa. She says, I have empathy for Melanie Pawlowski. I do believe she's going to need her family, which is Adam and Rex, and a ton of counseling to be deprogrammed and able to live with the guilt. Okay, so here's my take on that. I love Melanie. We talked about Melanie in the last podcast. I know a lot of people are like, oh, she needs to be accountable and she needs to go to jail. And there's a lot of people who have the mentality of she's guilty. She's part of this. Melanie Gibb, Zulema, all these people all need to pay a price. So with that being said, and everybody's right, allowed to have their own opinions on this. I love Melanie. Like, I feel so bad that Melanie was manipulated by Lori and by Chad. And I do feel like Melanie did go down that route with them. I don't know what Melanie went along with or what she knew. I don't know all those things, but if I'm Melanie, I would be like, oh my gosh, what was I freaking thinking? Like I was literally following this crap. And now I can see that that's all that it was. And I got taken, and I was weak enough to follow them, and step away from it. And I kind of feel like Zulema's doing that. Melanie Gibbs doing that. Probably Melanie's doing that. I think they all realize what's happened now, what road they were on, and now because of what happened with Lori and Chad, not calling Melanie anymore, cutting her off, cutting off all these people, that I feel like Melanie, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I just wish the absolute best for Melanie. I think she was taken for a ride. Unfortunately, she went for it, and my heart breaks. I mean, literally heart breaks for her.
I feel the same way, and I'm listening carefully, Adam, because I know other people's perspectives. And what I didn't hear you say, and it's similar with me, is she should be absolved of all responsibility because she was duped. No, she has responsibility. You didn't say that. And I agree with that. She should be responsible for any decisions she made, any actions she took. I don't know the evidence. We know she is involved in there and could have spoken out more, could have been more forthcoming, more honest. Okay, so maybe there's some accountability there as far as the death of anyone. I don't know what she knew. She may have known something about Charles's death before or after. Okay, and can be accountable for not coming forward with that. She may have been in denial with the rest of the people you said of, okay, the children are missing, and they don't deal with reality that Lori and Chad probably killed them. That could be the case. Maybe she needs to be accountable for that. We just don't know. So Adam and I have said many times, we aren't giving a pass to anyone, no matter how much we love them, if they're in the family. If they should be accountable for something, they should be accountable. We won't love them any less. We won't care about them any less. And I think you're of the same thought as I was listening to you say that. I was listening to hear if you're trying to give her a pass on anything. I didn't hear that.
I would love for her to understand whatever she knew and whatever she did, for her to understand, oh my gosh, I went down this road and I never should have went down this road. I made this huge mistake, whatever that is. But the thing now that I'm thinking about with this being said is there's some weird things that are going on with Tex, with Chad and dark kids being dark spirits. And something that was said, I think, with Alex can watch over a couple of Melanie's kids or something like that. Braxy and Breezy. To me, that's scary. Mm-hmm. That means maybe Melanie Gibb, maybe Zulema, maybe they were all in on, these, kids becoming zombies or dark spirits or whatever Chad had leveled everybody at. To me, that's super scary. But I think now that they know that all this was just the craziest crap that they could get caught up on, they all have to feel stupid. They all have to feel ridiculously dumb. But with that being said, those kinds of things. How far would you take it? What did you think? Like, I don't know if we're ever going to know the truth. I don't know if anybody's going to, be honest enough to be like, oh my gosh, I bought all into this. I don't know if anybody's going to ever admit to that.
Yeah, we probably not. And that's what frustrates us all. And I'm including myself for the general population. We want these people, if they made that mistake, if they were in on it and fooled by it, and now they're, they pulled out and said, good grief, what was I thinking? We'd want to hear that from them. Adam, you and I both believe we would have heard that from Alex.
Oh, yeah.
What was I thinking? Here's what I thought. Here's what happened.
Yeah.
We would like to hear the truth from the Melanies and Zulema, and not something that is obviously not the direct truth. They're obviously trying to walk the fine line between, I'm extricating myself from this, even though when I was in it, I was complicit. Would rather just hear the truth, but we aren't in control of that. That's what frustrates, I think, all of us. I speak for all of us.
Yeah. Joe Soos says, Joe Soos, was Alex left-handed? No, Alex was not left-handed. Alex was right-handed. And we talked about that, I think, last podcast as well. Let's see. Michelle Salter. I would love to know if they watched the interview with Nate Eaton. Interview that Nate Eaton did, the Laura from Lori's trial, and their thoughts. I didn't see it. Did you, Rex?
I did not see that one. No.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Or sorry, Michelle. We have no comment on that because we didn't see it. Hi, Adam. Love the glasses. Okay. So because I'm reading today, and I do have reading glasses, you see the color of my shirt and the color of these glasses. I bought 4 readers in a pack, and they're all different color readers, and they're all over the house. I can never find readers, and this is the only readers I could find. When Rex wasn't on at 3:30, usually Rex reads all these things, and I just sit here and comment. But thank you for noticing my stylish green glasses. Rex, your glasses are not green.
No, they aren't. Glad to have them.
Let's see. Who's this girl?
Tennis
girl. Oh yeah,
Tennis girl 101.
Do you think Alex would have followed Chad if Lori wasn't? No, because Alex, and I talked about this with some people, Alex thought Lori was like going to the temple 5 hours a day. She was dialed into being a very pure, religious giant. So in his mind, he thought Lori had all the answers. And then I talked about this when Chad put his hands on Alex's head and gave him a blessing and said, "You are forgiven of all your sins." That was enough for Alex to melt and be like, okay, I'm doing, you guys are close to God. I'm just following whatever you tell me. And that's exactly what happened. I know Alex. I know exactly that he wanted to be forgiven more than anything. And, from his sins and all the things that he's done in the world, that really was attractive to Alex. And it really got him to let Lori and Chad manipulate him and go down that road. You want to jump on that one, Rex, or no?
No, I'm with you on that.
You are with me on that. Let's see what this says. From Darla Artuzo. It's crazy. It's crazy Chad deemed Melanie's young children as dark. Do you think Melanie was aware of that? Scary stuff. God bless you and your family. That's the part that I don't know. I don't know what Melanie believed, what Chad, talking about kids being dark spirits. I'm not exactly sure what she believed and what she didn't believe, or what she was going along with to be part of the group.
Oh, okay. I'm going to weigh in on this. It's weighed on me too long. So Melanie, I believe, again, I don't have the insight to this. Melanie gave a whole lot of money to Chad and Lori when she got divorced. She got a whole lot of money. Okay. And that's why you hear the text that Lori's saying to whoever it was, Zulema, I think, Melly will take care of us. Melly gave him a bunch of money. Melly's husband had $1 million of insurance. They tried to kill him. Guess why? He had $1 million of insurance. That would go to Melanie. Melanie is extremely generous with her money, always has been. Okay. And so Lori and Chad saw Melanie as a cash cow, is my belief. Okay. So if they killed Brandon, Melanie got that money. They're getting a bunch of that money. They are greedy, evil people. That's what they're going for. So, of course, just like Lori talking to one of her friends in Hawaii saying, hey, leave your kids with your husband and come with us to do your thing. I'm sure Lori had said that to Melanie because she did. She left her kids with her husband. She left them. She tried to play it off as, well, I didn't leave them. That was temporary. But she said to him, you can just take the kids or whatever. And she ran off to Rexburg. So, of course, Chad and Lori are manipulating Melanie to get what they want. And so we got a snapshot in that process, one period of time where Melanie obviously believed that at least Breezy and Braxy were dark, meaning they may die soon, and that may happen to her other kids. We have to suppose all that because we haven't heard it from Melanie or from anyone else. But that's what's on my mind, so it's real obvious what was going on. It is, I agree, Darla, that is scary, scary stuff because Melanie at the time was buying into it. I personally don't think the kids are in danger now from her because I think she's extracted herself enough to say, what was I thinking?
Piper Dittman says, what was the last thing Lori said to you or you to her? That was in Lori's kitchen. And that's when Lori first told me that she was turning into a translated being. And then I said to her, well, I don't think that's true, Lori. And she looked at me and she said, you think I'm crazy, don't you? And I said, I don't know if you're crazy. I'm just saying that's not what's happening. And she turned around and walked off. And that was really the last conversation I had with Lori. So, and I've talked about that a lot. But if you never heard that before, I'm going to answer any questions that you guys may have or want to know. Tennis girl. Did we already do that one? No. Nope. Did it bother y'all that Tammy's murder would have stayed natural causes if the kids were not missing? Yes. Well, as soon as Charles died, and then when Tammy died, that to me was the Charles dying. Rex and I both had talked about this right when it happened. There's something really off about this. We knew that there wasn't a self-defense by Al.
Yeah, we said they killed him, meaning Lori and whomever.
Lori and Alex, whoever. We said they murdered Charles. We both were in on that. We both said, yes, we believe that. The next thing, when Tammy died, immediately I was like, they're killing their spouses for money. So yes, that bothered me.
Together.
It bothers me that they killed Tammy. Yes, that bothers me a lot. Whether the kids were killed or not, that bothers me.
And it bothered us. Had it stayed at natural causes, of course it would have bothered us because we knew better. We think anybody should be. We think if Joe Ryan was murdered, whoever was involved in that should face justice for it. We just don't have anything we can do about it. That's frustrating when you believe all this, you see all this, but you can't do anything about it. I don't know that I've told anyone, but I've talked to law enforcement about everything I believe and where I got it and what I think happened. That's all I can do. And I know people that criticize us, they don't know how much we've talked to law enforcement, what we've told them. And what part we wish we could play, but we just can't. And that's what drives me crazy about people talking about Adam not doing more when Charles was killed. You just don't know what he's done and what he hasn't done. Okay. That just will never not bother us, I think.
Yeah. Elise Gunnell says, any thoughts on what expert witnesses prior will call? And then there's a cow for Adam. The cow thing is, there's so many Facebook posts on our community Facebook posts that are all cows. There's this one cowboy, really big buff cowboy without a shirt on, hugging this cow with horns and just loving on him. He's like, do you think Adam would ever do that? I was like, for some reason, me and hugging a cow is now gone to the next level, I guess. And I still would do it at some point. Maybe not with my shirt off, but expert witness. I mean, I'm not sure what Pryor is going to pull off. Do you, Rex?
Yeah, Pryor laid it out in his opening remarks who he's going to call. And there were several of them. Of course, I don't know all of their positions or what his strategy would be, but basically to refute the witnesses that were called by the prosecution. For example, they have on their list a witness that will say Tammy Daybell's death was not, there is nothing there that shows that she was murdered, other than the medical examiner making a subjective opinion that she was murdered. You know, the bruises on her, they have an expert that'll say that doesn't mean someone was holding her down when she was killed.
Right.
So I'm sure he has what, 16 expert witnesses on his list. He has his children on his list. Who knows how many of them will be called? But of course, it's going to be refute what has been presented already to try to create reasonable doubt with the jury. So strap in. If he does that, it's got to be frustrating because we don't believe him. We don't like him. We don't believe the witnesses he's going to call or what they say. Remember, all of this is not for us. It's for the jury. And so I just try to think, what's the jury taking in from all this? And we won't know that until the verdicts are rendered.
We got another question from That's So Genie. Does it shock you that Lori was manipulated by someone like Chad? He doesn't seem like a charismatic cult leader. You know, we talked about Chad and being charismatic and being like this. You know, I don't know how people are following him. I don't know how people are attracted to him. I don't know. There's really nothing special about him. So it's very odd that not just Lori and Alex, but other people way before Lori and Alex, when Chad would go to these firesides and speak and do his book, and people go to listen to him talk. And I don't know how people were interested. I really don't. I don't have an answer for that. Am I surprised? Very, 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 very surprised that Lori ended up with Chad. Yeah, very surprising. Anything for you, Rex?
When your deepest desires, you have a chance of them being met or fulfilled, you're a lot more likely to give in to stupidity, to our natural selves. And Adam and I both said, a lot of you have said, well, of course, Lori wanted to be something, to be someone. And Chad offered her that, even though it was in their own minds and a small group of people around them. So in that sense, I'm not surprised. Just looking on the outside at Chad, Lori, yeah, that makes no sense at all. But there again, if you knew Lisa, my wife, like I knew her, you'd be surprised that we're together. That Lisa has taken me here.
Surprise,
So
surprise.
I can't knock that dynamic too much.
Yeah. Let's do this. Let's appreciate.
We have some we have some donations here for the foundation.
Yeah, Alicia, thank you so much. Donated $4.99. Hi, Adam and Uncle Rex. Hope you guys are doing okay with all the court stuff. Yes, we are. Thank you so much for. I mean, so many people send thoughtful messages to us during this time because it's definitely difficult to relive it, and we've been reliving it for a long time. So thank you
It's
for
a
the
lot
donation,
harder.
by the way.
Yes, thank you. It's a lot harder than I anticipated going into it. A lot harder emotionally. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jeannie. That's so Jeannie.
Yeah, she
Super
donated
sticker.
$5 too. Super sticker. Thank you for that. The Bath Girl. I kind of like that. That's a good YouTube name. I'm the not Bat Girl. I'm the Bath Girl. Does Melanie get to see or have custody of her kids? Yes, Melanie and Brandon have split custody of their kids, so they're working that out. What's this one? Boo Bear Baby. Adam, controversy about you having said last to chat with Charles. What is that? PN. His murder date, but his cell records don't show that. Hold on. What is this?
Okay, so Boo Bear Baby says there's a controversy because you said you were the last person actually to text Charles. That's verified by actual text, but his cell records don't show that. Okay, that's because Lori got the phone and deleted a bunch of records, but that's been on the record for some time that Adam and Charles had that cell phone exchange because they're on Adam's phone.
Yeah. So the thing about that is, Lori got Charles's phone. Charles was killed. Why would Charles get killed? Well, because they were fighting over Charles's phone. Police. Okay, well, let me just leave the number one thing of evidence in this case with Lori and not take it with me after I've investigated. That's what the Chandler police did. They left the number one piece of evidence with Lori for 24 hours before Lori even brought the phone back and before they even asked and realized, oh, you know what we don't have? We don't have Charles's phone. So there you go. I like to get that out when I can.
Yes, you do.
So I know it's police work is a hard thing, and I get all that, but that's a little much.
Well, I'm proud of you, Seattle Candy Company.
What'd she say?
She said, just wanted Rex to know I haven't killed anyone yet with snake venom this week. Okay, good to know. Good to know. There's a backstory to that we probably won't tell right now.
Well, about Alex going to Mexico?
We'll just let Seattle Candy Company come forward with that if she'd like.
Okay. Where are we going to next? Debbie D?
Mm-hmm.
Can y'all believe how doubtful Lori sounded on the phone with Chad? You could tell she was irritated. Things weren't happening the way Chad said they would be. Yeah, and I'm sure the thing about this is, Chad, Rex and I both know he's a fiction writer, and he was just pulling crap out of his butt all the time, just nonstop. And if it contradicted something else, he didn't even remember what he said before because he would do something else. And so, yeah, I did hear that text go in the phone call. They had a couple things going, texting and phone calls. And Lori's like, well, I thought you said that they were close to a 0, not a 3. Well, let me go pray and find out what it is, and I'll let you know. It's like, what is it? I mean, it literally is the most insanity. I mean, that's why this story is worldwide, is because literally it is like insanity. And it's being played out by adults who are playing in a fantasy world, knowing for sure they're not talking to God. They're not talking to Jesus. They didn't see Moroni. They're just living in a fantasy world. And they're grown adults. Zulema thinking that she can start a tornado because Chad told her she's in charge of weather. You can't do that. How are you living out these fantasies? It's really mind-boggling.
And Adam, we're kind of insulated a little bit in our community here. and we love it. We are so grateful for that. We're so grateful for y'all. And even these questions, compared to questions when we're on TV or we're on another podcast and we hear the questions of us and people are saying, well, how could Chad believe this, or how could Lori believe this because the Mormon faith says this, or is this something from the Mormon faith?
Right.
You know, we just shake our head. They didn't believe this crap. They're making stuff up.
It's
They're
so
just
ridiculous.
making it up. They aren't taking Mormon theology and transposing it. They're just using whatever terminology they know. They happen to know Mormon terminology, Mormon background, Mormon stories, Mormon
Yes.
whatever. So
Yes.
they'll take whatever vocabulary they have to make their crap up. Dungeons
And there's a lot of Harry
Dragons,
Potter, and there's a lot of Harry Potter
Potter.
sprinkled in there.
Yeah. So how can they believe it? They don't believe it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jay, another
yeah,
long-term friend of ours.
Yeah, Cammy Day, thank you for the donation. That was awesome.
Not the first love and hug she has been sending us. Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you. Justice for everybody. Stephanie Wood, does Melanie P still have contact with Lori in prison? I have no idea. That's a good question. I have no idea. I wouldn't imagine that she does, but I don't know the answer to that.
I like this question.
What's this one? Tabitha Jane. Adam, if they make a movie out of this whole ordeal, who do you think should play you? Oh my. Jason Bateman, maybe. I like him. Vince Vaughn. I mean, people tell me, like, especially Rex's daughters, they think that I'm Vince Vaughn. They're convinced that I'm Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, that may not be the best for this particular movie.
Well, actors are supposed to be able to act any way they, anyways, right?
That's true.
Who would you want to play? Who would you want to play you, Rex?
Oh, I've answered this before. In fact, someone asked me this by text, and we had a text exchange about it. And so I told Lisa, hey, so-and-so asked me who I would want to play me. And I said, well, doesn't matter who I want. Lisa would want Jason Statham. And so I showed this to Lisa. I showed it to Lisa, the question. She said, Jason Statham. So I scrolled down. That's what I said. And then the person asked the next question. Lisa answered. I scrolled down. It's exactly what I said, Jason Statham. And the whole thing is preset already, geared on Jason Statham. So I have to say that.
Or The Rock. Maybe The Rock. You can play The Rock can play you.
Yeah. That's need to work out a little bit first.
Gene Sawyer says, can you guys go back to the Link podcast with Adam talking about days surrounding Charles? Also, since Adam might have to testify, that's enough of a reason to not be asked about it at this time.
Can we go back and link the podcast?
Oh, link the podcast. Yes. Well, we're looking for volunteers to do some work for us.
Let's advertise right now. We seriously need a volunteer to organize our library, to catalog just what we've discussed. And I'm not talking great detail. Listen to every podcast, but by title, to catalog what we've discussed, especially with therapists and with healing. And so it's easy to find and organize it in a way to find it. We need someone to do it. Adam and I could do the work, but it would take forever and it would still be lousy. We need someone that is organized and can think that way. So more to come on that request.
Joanna Bowden says, what are your thoughts on the technicality, the typo of JJ's date of death?
Do you know about that, Adam?
Yeah, I do know about it. In court, but that's John Pryor's. That's his job, is to look for technicalities. I mean, that's lawyers' jobs. And if they find one, you have to exploit it. That's what they did. The judge did his thing.
The judge actually found it, not John Pryor.
Yeah.
But John Pryor, of course, called for dismissal as soon as he heard it.
Yeah. So
That's
I'm sure it's going to continue to go forward. I don't think that that's going to be a major deal.
sure was scary for a few moments there, though, for two
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah. A lot of people are real upset about that. I agree. We have somebody from India who gave us a donation, 300 something, whatever the money is in India. Do you know what it is?
I don't know, but I'm sure that's generous regardless of the amount. So thank
Yeah,
you.
no doubt. Exactly. Hey, Adam, I really want to know, does your family that someday Lori tells what happened with kids to reach this point for the sake of closure? I am from India and following from the beginning. Wow. Yeah, I don't think Lori's ever going to come to her senses to say, okay, I really screwed up. I don't think that's ever going to happen. So yeah, I don't think we're ever going to know what happened to the kids unless somebody out there knows and has been holding it in, and they can't hold it in anymore, and they have to tell somebody. So, but if they do that, then obviously they could be held accountable. So I don't think we're ever going to find out. To be honest with you, I hope we do somehow. Somebody knows something that they can help us with, but yeah. This is from Catherine Pesa again. Adam, did this cause your divorce? I know that personally my heart goes out to you. Thank you, Catherine. This did have um, a part of my divorce. Um, yeah, my wife at the time and I, there was a lot of pressure in our marriage because of this. And yes, when it comes to family, and I'm a forgiver. I have to forgive, so I had to forgive my family to move forward for my own personal safety. For me not getting eaten up every day by guilt and all that. So that was a discussion my wife and I had, and she's not going to ever forgive my family and never want us to talk to them again. And that's fine. And I said everybody can have whatever. I feel like everybody can feel however they want to feel, and I'm never going to judge anybody who is in this situation for feeling or saying whatever they want, because this is way too much for one person to take. So, with that being said, it was one of those things that she didn't want me to talk to my family ever again, and I'm a forgiver and I have to do that. So there was a parting of ways with that. Harriet Bass, let's see what she has to say, Rex.
Okay.
Why was it the most well, let's see, why was it that most of Lori's family was dark and even summer? Adam, their dad's kids, their dad's kids and Chad's sister-in-laws, but not Chad's family. Chad had an evil plan against Lori's family and Tammy. That I agree with that. And I talked to my mom about this. And when this all first happened, we learned about light and dark and what Chad was on his computer and all this stuff. My mom was like, "Well, why wouldn't Lori say, 'Look, Chad, you kill your kids first'? What are you talking about?" And that just never came up. And so I don't know why Lori didn't question any of that either. Yeah,
I
that's
do.
a hard. Yeah,
That's no, this is obvious. What how would it benefit him to kill his kids? They weren't in the way of him being together with Lori. There wasn't any financial gain to get from it. Why would he kill his kids? Remember, this is just old fashioned. It's evil, it's lust, and it's money. There's no advantage for him to kill his kids in any of those areas. There were
yeah,
advantages for him to kill Lori's family because there are a lot of people getting in the way in Lori's family. So
yeah.
just funny, follow the lust.
Thanks again, Debbie D, for a sticker, super sticker. We appreciate you and donating to the cause. Let's see. Elise Gunnell says, "Has Lori been excommunicated?" Rex and I talked about this in a few podcasts back, maybe a couple months ago or 3 months ago. I'm sure she has. I don't have any proof that she has, but I don't know if she ever talked to a stake president. I don't know how that happens. Do they just cut her off or cut Chad off? I don't know. I don't know how that goes down, but I'm
Yeah, we've
sure
heard
she
that from
is.
other people. That happens on a local level. It's not publicized anywhere. I know back in the 1800s, they put it in the newspaper. This ain't the 1800s, so it's not announced all over the church. So, but we've heard from
Right.
other people that she is excommunicated.
Yeah. Sarah B says, do you think Alex took his own life because Chad and Lori said that God wanted and he would be more valuable on the other side? I believe that is a value. That is one of my theories. Yes, that is one of my theories that happened. I have that theory. I also have the theory that somebody poisoned him. So either Al got poisoned or Al took his own life. I know there's still some people that believe it was a natural cause. And it's still, to me, it's like, it just doesn't go down like Charles dying, Tammy dying, kids, Alex. Like, it just doesn't go down like that. It's the coincidence is too much. So
Joseph,
I know some people want to, yeah, and some people want to believe that, and I'm just like, it's just that part to me is a little hard to swallow. Let's go to Mary Trotter. She says, "Do you think Alex really realized that they used him, as Zulema said? Yeah, possibly. Or he still was in it and said, "Oh, it's time for me to go to the other side. He did everything that I was supposed to do here with Chad's blessing, you know." So, or he realized, "Oh, I can't believe I fell for this. I'm not sticking around for this." I can see both. I can see both of those being right. Do you agree with that, Rex?
yeah, and Adam, don't you think Alex really could have been duped? Unlike Lori, Lori had to create a delusion to buy all this crap and live in
Yeah.
her delusion. I think they really could have just manipulated Alex. He was duped. And if that were the case, then he could have realized, oh, wait a minute. This is ridiculous. How did I fall for this? I think that could have happened. That won't happen to Lori because she's in her alternative reality. I don't know that Alex had an alternative reality. I think he's just believing something he really, 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 really wanted to believe and hoped was true. And if that's the case, then he easily could have realized, oh man, that's ridiculous.
So Debbie, by the way, Debbie Griffith, thank you for the $10 donation. Says the grave that JJ was buried in seemed to be the perfect size for him. Do you think Alex could dig the grave that perfect? No. And here's what I know. Alex was only there for 12 minutes when the graves were already dug for both Tylee and JJ. So and guess who's a grave digger? Guess who's a professional grave digger? Chad. That's Chad's profession, is digging graves. So I think that if Alex had the bodies, Alex brought the bodies, Chad had the graves dug up already. So that's my theory on it. What about you, Rex?
Yeah, I agree with Adam. I think Chad did that. But the question is, do you think Alex could dig the grave that perfect? Yes, digging a grave is not rocket surgery. I like mixed metaphors.
Yeah.
So could he move dirt out of the ground into a perfect square, whatever, cut the roots, whatever? Yeah, he's probably capable, but I think Chad probably prepared the graves.
Yeah. Let's see. This comes from Cami Day. The state showed how much Chad was the ringleader. Lori was always going to him for questions. Yes. I mean, it's obvious he started it, but obviously anybody that followed it is just as guilty. It's so sad. It is the saddest thing knowing that, people could fall for that, the craziness of what was being said by Chad. It's really, it's
Yeah.
mind boggling. And
And let's keep
that's
this
why,
in perspective. The only reason that's a question is because John Pryor doesn't have much to work with. And so, of course, the most likely scenario for him to get Chad out of the death penalty is to say, well, Chad was just following Lori. He wasn't as culpable as Lori. So that's the only reason we're talking about it. If you take a step back and just look at reality, of course they were both in on it together. Just two evil idiots making crap up for money, sex, and power.
Yep.
So of course they were both in on it.
No, we have to put this one up on the screen. Comes from the Silver Linings podcast. it's either Missy or Melanie. And by the way, thank you for moderating, Missy and Melanie. Thank you guys. And Lindsay
Yes,
and
thank you.
Kimberly. We have such a great team with Silver Lining Podcast. You guys make this thing go. Please like and share and subscribe and support the channel, friends. Thank you. Forgot
You know something,
Rex,
because
Rex and I just aren't. We're just not normal podcast hosts, so we don't do the normal things.
and let me confess something. Maybe we'll do this next live, Adam. We were supposed to do something on this live that I didn't do because I was late, so it didn't work out. But we were going to talk a little bit about some of the trolls that have come in. Remember, we have about 3,000 people there with us now that weren't with us a month ago, and we welcome them and we love them being part of it. And we love everyone that's still a part of it. Well, some of them don't express themselves very nicely in a lot of people's opinions, including ours. You know, we call them trolls, but some people just express themselves, seems a little harsh, etc. And the community that we've created, we think doesn't like that a whole lot. Now, we know we're out there. We put ourselves out on social media, and that's part of it. And we'll deal with it, but that puts the moderators in a real tough position to try to figure out, well, what will Adam and Rex allow in there? Because we do like to hear opposing opinions, but I think none of us like to hear rude people. So maybe in the next podcast, we'll spend more time talk about that. And yeah, we'll ban people that are out and out mean-spirited or out and out rude. But we certainly welcome various opinions, because we've said many times already on this podcast and many times in the past, we don't know. You know, other people's opinions are just as valid as ours. There are things we don't like, but it doesn't mean we can't hear opposing opinions. So we'll deal with that more another time. But that's just another reason to thank our moderators, because they're in a tough position with, well, who do I ban? Who do I kick out of here? Who do I leave in here? And what are people willing to hear? Yeah. But people that are just rude, none of us like that.
KCL. Yeah, we love her. She's always supporting this podcast. She says other defense witnesses, 3 out of 4 Daybell children still under subpoena for the defense. Detective Eric Wheeler, Melanie Gibb, David Warwick, and Zulema. Maybe others. So it starts on Monday. We'll see what Pryor does with his defense. I'm not sure. What's going to happen with that. Let's see.
Tomorrow is Monday Memorial Day, or is it next week? That's next week. Never mind.
I think it's next week. Yeah. We also want to thank Susan Cummings for a super sticker. Do you guys ever think you will talk to Lori in the future? I think at some point, and when you say the future, that could be 10 years from now. So I do think at some point, if she's still alive and I'm still alive, that I would like to have a conversation with Lori. Will it happen? I don't know, but I would say in the future. I mean, tomorrow, no, but maybe down the road. Let's go to Stephanie real quick. She says, "What do you guys think? Think Lori thinks about Chad throwing her under the bus?" This is a great question because everybody wants to know what's Lori going to do when she sees Chad's team just blame everything on her.
I don't think she'll do anything or she'll care.
Yeah,
I think she'll just believe, okay, that's part of the strategy. He's doing what he's got to do, or maybe they talk about it. We don't even know if they talk very much.
Yeah, don't know anything about that. The thing about Lori, her brain is so wacky that I don't even know how she would even think about that. So you're asking a normal person. Well, yeah, they would be mad and know it's over. You know what I mean? That's a normal person. Lori's not normal right now. So you can't ask logical questions to somebody who doesn't have any logic. We want Tracy Avila. Thank you for the super sticker.
Donations from Tracy. She has 2 of them. You notice on here, one
I
right
love
after
it.
the other.
Let's see what Kathy says. Kathy says, "What do you think? Do you think that Melanie thought her 2 children were already gone? The body left behind had been taken over by evil spirit, maybe explains her thinking." Yeah. See, with Chad telling people that, once, I think his theory is once, whoever the person is inside the body leaves the body, and then a demon or somebody, another evil spirit comes into the body, then you got to pray and all that stuff to get him out or kill the body. Whatever he explained, I don't even know what his logic was about that, but you heard, Lori talking about that with the kids, and, who knows what everybody thought, and how could you even buy into it is my thing. It's like, my mind doesn't even wrap around that. Here's a question that people ask, Rex, and I don't know if do you think that Lori could have been the one to shoot Charles?
Easily.
I mean, she could have, yeah. Mm-hmm. But my gut feeling tells me Alex did it.
But or maybe both. There were 2 shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really don't know the scenario in there, since we've heard so many different versions of what happened in there. That leads me to say it may be none of those versions and something else happened in there. So it could be anything.
Yeah. Brenda Stanley, thank you for being a optimist. Hopefully you are an optimist and watching our podcast. Her question is, thank you so much. I'm wondering if you 2 know of reasons if Chad was offering any plea deals. Also, what was the reason Alex went to Mexico? I can't remember any of that, Rex. Can you?
I don't know if I haven't heard if he has offered any plea deals. The plea deal would be typically, hey, if you plead guilty, we'll take the death penalty off the table.
Something like life in prison. Yeah.
We don't know if that happened, but he pleaded not guilty. So, yeah, we just don't know. Why did Alex go to Mexico? We don't know, but it could easily have been to buy poison.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Let's see. Here's from Jojo. Jojo, Adam, your parents have lost many children. Are they processing and healing okay? Also, Tylee looks so much like Janice, so beautiful and a beautiful smile. Thank you, Jojo. Yes, my parents, and Rex and I talk about this almost every podcast. My parents have been through a lot, more grief than most people. And are they processing and healing okay? I saw my mom last night. She's in town. And she's doing as good as she can. I literally, she's a miracle walking to me. Literal, like for her to get up in the morning and just walk out the door is a miracle to me. What she's been under, all the pressure and all the grief and the sorrow that she's had in her life, it's been a lot. So I think they're doing okay. The word okay is like they're not doing great, but they're not terrible either. So I think that's a good one. Yes, and Tylee did resemble Lori a little bit. She resembled my mom a little bit. I think she even resembled Joe a little bit. So there is a mixture I could see with Tylee. But yeah, she was a beautiful girl, super talented, great singer. I used to tease Tylee all the time because Lori would try to get Tylee to sing. She wanted Tylee to be a singer, and then Tylee liked singing. But when it came to the songs, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Lori would be more proper in the way that she would pronounce things. And so with Tylee, it would be Santa Claus is coming to tone instead of saying town. And I would always walk up to Tylee and sing tone. And she would just start busting up laughing. Oh my gosh, I missed that. Oh, sorry. I had a little moment here.
Yeah, beautiful moment.
Yeah,
Other than
I missed
singing.
Tylee. Flutterby Butterfly. What a great name that is. Thank you for the $10 donation.
Yes.
Adam, what are you doing to get yourself your dream beach home? Your life. Don't wait. Consider this your down payment. I'll do it. You know, a lot of people have been ever since Rex, or was there a question was it the last podcast? Somebody said, where do I see myself in 5 years? And I said, hopefully I'm on a beach somewhere. I mean, there's something special about being on a beach and walking on the beach. There's something therapeutical. Is that a word? Therapeutical?
It is now. Yes.
I've been making up words my whole life. Yep. But yes, hopefully I will be on a beach somewhere. I don't know where. I don't really care. I just want to be on a beach. So thank you for that. On the down payment. I like that. Let's do it. Are we out of time? Or you have to go back in and do your presentation?
It's been an hour. Well, someone else is presenting right now, so I'll go back in and make an appearance when they end in half an hour here.
Okay. Let's do another thank you to Anastasia.
Anastasia Beaverhausen.
Yes. And her for the donation. Also, she said, did any of these people involved have jobs? Exactly. What is going on? How do you not have a job? I know Alex quit his job and he was making about $90,000 to $100,000 a year driving an 18-wheeler. Lori back in the day was one of the best hairdressers. She made a lot of money being a hairdresser, or stylist is what they call them. Chad, I guess, was a grave digger, and I guess he was selling books at some point, publicist. But when they have all this free time, Alex quit his job.
Zulema had a job.
What did Zulema do? What's her job?
She's a professional hugger. If you do the research on, but it was something else. Because she testified about it in court that she didn't want to go to Rexburg. She was resisting. One of the reasons was she didn't have any work to do in Rexburg, and she had work there in Arizona.
A professional hugger?
Well, that's something on. I can see the people I was in the work with coming out now, so I guess they're over.
Oh,
but
no! Did you get screwed up?
Has something in her past, something about being a professional hugger. But
man, you can make money hugging people. I'd hug people all day for money. Are you kidding? What a great job!
Maybe she's a professional cow hugger. I don't know, but she had a regular sounding job if you look at the court record.
Okay. One more question here. Let's see. Allison W. Rex, when you were on court TV, the other expert said because Barry Cox had mental health issues, so did Lori. Do you believe Barry had mental health issues? And if so, is it the same?
So this was funny. So here's this other person I've never heard of, never met, never talked to. I don't know Vinny on court TV. And they said, well, Barry Cox had mental illness. Now, Adam and I know Barry. It's not that we wouldn't believe that, but there's never been a diagnosis that he said that he has mental illness. He's never been in and been diagnosed with a mental illness. Not that we wouldn't believe it if that were the case. So to hear this from people on TV that they don't know where did they get this crap?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I am perfectly open to believing Barry, Lori, and a whole lot of people have mental illness, some more severe than others. Of course, Lori, the most severe mental illness probably that there is. So I'm not close to that. I just don't excuse any actions, activities, decisions because of mental illness. I personally believe the opposite, the decisions people make, they lead themselves into mental illness. Personal opinion, not professional.
Let me take my glasses off for this one.
Uh-oh, this is serious.
going very serious right now. Yeah. With what Lori did and what Alex did, if somebody said that they're mentally ill, I'm going to agree 100%. You can't be not mentally ill and do what they did. I mean, you can say they're dumb. You could say they're easily manipulated. You could say they're weak. You could say all these things, but literally to live in a fantasy that a guy named Chad created, a fantasy, and you buy into it and believe it. You know, there's got to be something. But again, people are like, well, your family. Well, Summer and I didn't kill anybody. We're still alive. We're trying to be normal. But it's weird how people, judge, and they judge the whole thing. They judge your whole family. Like, for the rest of my life, I'm going to be judged. Summer's going to be judged. It's just, that's what we ended up signing up for being part of this family, I guess. So we're all going to be judged, and everybody has the right to do whatever you want. You can judge, you can believe what you want, you can say what you want. All I know is what the truth is for me, from what I've seen, from what I heard. So yeah, I think that's the position that we're going to be in the rest of our lives.
Adam, let me take one more. This was intriguing to me.
Okay.
Joanna Lynn, and this is an example of something I said earlier. If Chad really believes what he said to his followers, stop there. Chad does not believe what he said to his followers. He's making crap up. Wouldn't you think he wants to die and come back to Earth the seventh time? Sure, if he really believed that crap, he may believe that, but he doesn't. He knows he is who he is and who he isn't.
Yes.
So he doesn't believe that crap.
That's a great point. And people keep bringing that up. Well, because it's so crazy of the things that they say, and people are just saying it just in general. Look, if they believe this, why did this happen? Because they contradicted everything that they said. Everything that they believed and said was a contradiction. A week later, a day later, a month later, whatever it was, it always contradicted what they originally did or said.
Oh, here, this is funny, Adam. We talked about trolls. Kimberly B says, express your opposing opinions like you weren't raised in a trap house. That's the moral of the story. Right. Thank you, Kimberly always has such a hilarious.
I love Kimberly. Oh, she cracks me up. Oh my gosh. Kimberly.
Other people have donated. Goop Shoop with Gautami. I don't know how to pronounce anything in Indian, but there's a generous donation. Denise Hartle, right next to San Jose. The podcast is so interesting. I am too. I'm in Milpitas, apparently, at the Dave & Buster's. Do you think Lori would still be married to Charles if she never would have started going to those conferences? No, because she would have found some other excuse. She's just in a bad place. And thank you to Kyrie Eliason for a donation. People are donating. People are just so generous. The Geeky Geek, $10. What a great name there.
Yeah, but you guys, some of you YouTubers have some great names. They're great. I love it.
And coming soon, sorry we ran out of time, but coming soon, we'll tell you what's going on with stuff we said is coming up. Things are happening, and we're looking forward to it. We're really excited about what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, we're excited about a lot of things that are I think going to be beneficial to a lot of people too. So, all right. Well, Rex, enjoy your rest of your week in San Jose.
Thanks. I'll have to sign off rather quickly here. My coworker's coming out, so I've got to go hide. Okay. Thanks for being a part of this, everyone.
All right. We'll see everybody on Tuesday from us here at Silver Linings Podcast. We'll say goodbye. And you can also, email us rexandadam@gmail.com. You can reach us also on Facebook. You can post on Facebook. The Facebook is Tylee and JJ's Silver Lining Podcast Community. you can be part of that too. It's a great, great Facebook group if you're looking for support and love and non-judgment. So we love that. All right. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. And we will see you later.